Alright, what's up guys? I am definitely very excited about this deck profile. I am doing Gladiator Beast today. It is a going second OTK deck. I've seen going first builds here and there. I don't think that this is the deck that you want to go first with. Although the deck can go first, I think pretty much you just want to knock your opponent out. Like, you just want them to set up their board and just shrug your shoulders and just beat through it, because that's what Gladiator Beasts do best. They play through a battle phase. I've always enjoyed this deck. I remember I picked up a max rarity deck back in 2012. I had everything super duper max rarity. And then the Link Monster got dropped, the first one, which was this guy. And he was just an embarrassment, to say the least. I mean, he did nothing for the deck. He was one of those cards that he was only good after you were already doing well anyway. So you just needed way too many extenders to get the engine going, and there was no way to really play the deck efficiently with just him. But we have a new Link Monster which changes the deck entirely in Test Panther. Deck's probably not meta, but it is probably a fun Tier 3, Tier 2 deck. Very good, can easily OTK a lot of decks, can surprise a lot of opponents. So let's get started. Let's start the deck profile here. Play 3 copies of Gladiator Beast Andal. He is an incredibly impressive card in terms of his stats. He's 1900, but more importantly, we can summon him off a Rescue Rabbit, and he is a 1-card Rescue Panther if we need it. So that's good. We play 2 copies of Gladiator Beast Augustus. When he came out, he was decent, but because of Test Panther, he's actually very, very good now. In the fact that when he's special summoned, and all of the Gladiator Beast monsters have this sort of effect, when they're special summoned by a Gladiator Beast monster, they have a special effect, and then during the battle phase, at the end of the battle phase, if they attacked or were attacked, they are shuffled back into the deck, and then you can special summon another Gladiator Beast monster from your deck to replace the one that you shuffle back. So they all have that sort of cool effect. But his special ability, when he's special summoned off of Gladiator Beast Monster, is that you can special summon another Gladiator Beast Monster from your hand, which is very, very good in the current build of the deck. Like I said, before he was just decent, but now he's actually really good. Then we play 2 copies of the new one, Achorix, Gladiator Beast Achorix. When this card is special summoned off a Gladiator Beast Monster, of course, you can send 1 Gladiator Beast Monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and it becomes the same level as the monster that was sent. And the reason that one is important is because you can use this to send Augustus, and then by doing that, you can actually go into Gladiator Beast Tamer more easily, and that's probably the best card the archetype has. Again, that was another card that was just decent. It's kind of like Gladiator Beasts. We're getting like one after another little broken card over the years, and it's all sort of added up. And now I think the deck is fairly competitive thanks to that. Like I said, that Beast Tamer card was extremely difficult to summon before, but with Test Panther, everything is significantly easier. We play 1 copy of the Vesperius. He's the new one. I'm kind of testing him. He's not the greatest ever, but he can help you finish games. Like, maybe sometimes you need that extra damage, and he's definitely very good for that. 1 Bestiari. When he's special summoned, you get to pop cards. 1 Darius. When he's special summoned, you can select 1 Gladiator Beast monster in your graveyard, which basically means target, and then special summon it. That can certainly be useful because usually you don't have Gladiator Beast monsters in the graveyard with the old build, because you either shuffle back into the deck to get fusions, or you shuffle back into the deck to summon other monsters. But because you link at least one of them away for Test Panther, you will always have at least one in the graveyard. So he's a lot better than he used to be. Then we play 1 copy of the Quest. And this card, basically, when it's special summoned with the effect of a Gladiator Beast monster, you can add a Gladiator Beast card from your graveyard to your hand. And there's a brand new card, which is basically Monster Reborn for the entire archetype. I would almost like Monster Reborn and double summon, because you can summon from the hand or from the graveyard. So very, very good for that, to get that card back and get you more link materials and more monsters to, I guess, like fusion away or contact away. 3 copies of Test Panther. This card, man, I used to have the ultimate rares, and it sucks. I sold them because I realized that the other link monsters suck, like I said, and I sold them, and I kind of regret it. But yeah, three copies of Test Panther, very good card. Basically, if you have a Gladiator Beast monster, you can special summon it for free. So this plus any Gladiator Beast monster is a Test Panther right off the bat. And then another cool effect that it has is that you can tribute this card and return one Gladiator Beast monster you control to the deck and special summon another Gladiator Beast monster from your deck. So it's basically like a clean slate in terms of you can, like, let's say you have this and Bestiari, for example. You can get rid of this and the Bestiari and then summon Augustus and then summon something from your hand. And it kind of like resets your board sometimes, which helps a lot. And like I said, the whole entire objective of this deck is to get a Gladiator Beast monster on the field and then one non-Gladiator Beast monster on the field, and then you can easily make a Test Panther, which is incredibly important. Then we play three copies of Rescue Rabbit. This is, again, very, very good because Rescue Rabbit is a one-card Test Panther. It gets to 2 Andals, and then you link the 2 Andals away. Very useful. We play 3 copies. This is where the build is somewhat different. 3 copies of Gamma Seal. Again, this is a going second OTK build. And why I like Gamma Seals and the 1 Jizukiru is because we are actually playing the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. So why I like Interrupted Kaiju Slumber is because, again, this deck is already going second. So it doesn't hurt you to play the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber anyway because you want to destroy your opponent's board and then just attack for game. But what makes it super, super cool and so much better is that Interrupted Kaiju Slumber leaves you with a Jizukiru and your opponent with a Gamma Seal, which is incredibly useful. Because by getting that extra monster, you can actually use, like, for example, the Jizukiru and the whatever. Let's say you have an Andal on your side of the field, you can use the Jizukiru and the Andal in order to link summon a Test Panther. So not only does it destroy your opponent's board, but on top of that, it actually gives you a free link material. Then we play 3 copies of Tenyi Vishuda. This card, basically, if you control no effect monsters, you can special summon it. So even if you control no monsters, you can still special summon it. And then if this card's in the graveyard or in your hand, you control a non-effect monster, you can banish this and then bounce your opponent's card, which is useful because sometimes they'll have something like there can only be one, or some other form of nuisance, floodgate, anti-spell, fragment, something annoying like that, and this card can help you get around that. It's almost like a kaiju for everything. Like, the card's crazy. 3 copies of Ash Blossom because we need, this is, again, going second, so got to play the generic hand traps. Then we play 3 copies of the Gladiator Prowling Ground, not once per turn, and searches a Gladiator Beast monster from your deck to your hand. It is not a Gladiator Beast card, it is a Gladiator Prowling Ground, so you can't search it off of Test Panther, but what's awesome about it is that it is not once per turn, and you'll find that with a lot of the Gladiator Beast cards. Then we've got the Gladiator Rejection. This card is another nuts card. You activate it as soon as you open this card, you add it. You activate it because your opponent cannot target Gladiator Beast monsters you control with card effects, except during the battle phase, which is great because they can't get Veilered, they can't get Impermanence, they can't get Widow Angered. Like, this card is really, really good for that. On top of that, if a Gladiator Beast monster is special summoned from your main deck, except during the damage step, you can special summon one Gladiator Beast monster from your deck with a different type. So it's like a free extender, and that is a hard once per turn. So on top of getting protection, which is a bonus, you can loop out new cards, which will give you, again, more link material, more stuff like that. Lets you go into stuff like Appaloosa, Avermax, and other busted cards. Then we play 2 copies of the Gladiator Beast Comeback. I was playing 3 at first, but in all seriousness, you can kind of like loop this card, and this card is searchable. You can loop it, you can search it with Test Panther, and then you can loop it out with Darius, or not Darius, with the other dude, this guy, Quest. You can loop it back with a Quest because you can get stuff back. So you don't particularly need to play 3, but this card is definitely a very, very good card. So basically, it's a Monster Reborn, but not only a Monster Reborn, it doesn't target in the graveyard. So you can special summon a Gladiator Beast monster from your hand or graveyard with a different type from the monsters you control. and it cannot be destroyed by battle. So what's awesome about that is you can, when you activate it, it again doesn't target. So even if your opponent calls by the grave a card in your graveyard, you're not targeting anything. So you can just switch switch what you were gonna do and just summon from the hand. So it's incredibly useful for that. We play 2 copies of Mind Control, so we can kidnap our opponent's monster and link it away to summon Test Panther, which is really good against, of course, Thunder Dragons. 3 copies of Instant Fusions to summon the Thousand Eyes Restrict. And like I said before, 3 copies of Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. And I love this so much because, like I said, breaks their board. On top of breaking their board, it gives you a link material to use. And then another cool interaction is I never mentioned this, but something that's really awesome is the Vishuda and any kaiju, because you can, like, let's say they have a monster that negates monster effects or something, you just tribute that monster, give them the Gamma Seal, then you special summon the Vishuda, link that away into the Tenyi Link, which is in the extra deck somewhere here. You can summon the Tenyi Link right there, and then you can banish the Vishuda in the graveyard, bounce the Gamma Seal back to your hand, tribute another monster they control, and right there you've basically tributed 2 monsters, and you haven't really lost anything. You just kind of like loop things around in circles, because you used one Gamma Seal to tribute 2 cards, so 2 non-targeting destructions or non-targeting removals, and then on top of 2 non-targeting removals, you were able to get a monster out of it on your side of the field. So you just gotta normal summon 1 more Gladiator Beast, and then you can just go off and do the full combo. But yeah, that's a really cool interaction. Any Kaiju and Vishuda. So that's the main deck. Then we go to, of course, the extra deck, which is going to be 2 copies of Test Panther. He's incredibly key to our strategy. Basically, his effect is that when he's link summoned, you can search a Gladiator Beast card from your deck to your hand. And then on top of that, you can target a Gladiator Beast monster, and this is the crazy effect. And then you shuffle that Gladiator Beast monster into the deck, and if you do, special summon a Gladiator Beast monster with a different original name from your deck. So it doesn't even have to be a different original type, which is a lot more useful than the original Test Panther. But again, Test Panther is more of an extender than anything now. It's like he's like a free summon. And then we play 1 copy of Gladiator Beast Dragaces. He's okay. He's like decent. He can get cut, honestly. He's cool because he makes it so your monsters can't be destroyed by battle, and then lets you summon even bigger monsters. So he's good for that. And he's one of those cards where you summon him afterwards, so you just get more link zones. That's basically the only reason you summon him. He's decent. And then when he battles, you can summon 2 Gladiator Beast monsters from your deck, and then shuffle him back into the extra deck. So, like, he can help you go for game, but he's decent. If he was the only link monster that existed for Gladiator Beast, it would be very sad. Then we play 1 copy of Monk of the Tenyi. Like I said, it's for the Vishuda. 1 Nightmare Unicorn. This is somewhere later into the combo. You basically just make a unicorn on the other side, and then you just start the combo all over again. And Unicorn's good for that. 1 Crusadia Avermax. Go for game. Appaloosa. Link Spider. Link Spider is an interesting card too. Like, let's say you open a little rough where you maybe don't have enough extenders. Let's say you open like an Andal and like 2 Andals, for example, or maybe you open an Andal and a Gladiator Prowling Ground, for example. You can use the effect of Gladiator Prowling Ground, search the other Andal, and then normal summon the Andal, link it away for a Link Spider, and then use the effect of Link Spider to summon the Andal right under the Link Spider, and then you can go into Test Panther. Because again, Test Panther is like our main win condition. All of the other going second cards are great, but our main win condition is the Test Panther, and we want to get to it. So that's a little way to like cheat them out just in case you have an awkward hand. It's just another option, you know. And then we play 2 copies of Gladiator Beast Dominatus. Honestly, I have no idea why I couldn't find it. I went to go build the deck today, and I just couldn't find a second copy. Definitely play 2. But yeah, he's another crazy one. But you can basically summon him for free off of Tamer. You don't even have to look at all of these qualifications here. You very rarely actually summon cards the way they're supposed to. You just basically use Beast Tamer to cheat out everything, and this card included. So this card is like a lightning rod. It makes you attack him, and on top of that, he can destroy. He can negate a monster effect, which is a quick effect. And the cost for that is essentially nothing. It's just once per turn you can do it, and it's like a free negation. So it's great for that. You get a free negation during either player's turn. On top of, like I said, lightning rod. Then we play 2 copies of Beast Tamer. He's really questionable, very good. So when he came out in Battles of Legend, he was so trash. Like he just because the problem is there was no link. Like the deck didn't have appropriate link zones to be utilized correctly. Because like I said, the only card the deck really had was the Dragassis. Because you'd summon him, like let's say use the test rabbit. Well, not the test rabbit or the rescue rabbit. Use rescue rabbit, get the 2 Andals, and then you'd end on that link monster, but you don't have enough resource to keep extending. So you'd have to wait until the following turn and then try to summon out one of him and then summon, hope your Dragsea survived, and then summon the monster to another zone. And it was all very, very convoluted, but now with Test Panther, this card is extremely broken because it can basically, you target a monster. You can basically use this to cheat out any Gladiator Beast monster to just a zone Link monster points to, which is crazy. And yeah, it's one of your main combo cards. Then we play 1 copy of Geysarius, which when he's summoned, you pop 2 cards. He's the original best Gladiator Beast fusion monster. 1 Heraclinos. He's basically, you just negate. He's like a light version of the water one. He's a lighter, like I mean light, like lightweight, and I don't mean like in the other sense. But yeah, basically he's like a light version. You can discard a card and then negate a spell or trap activation, which can help. When you're going into battle phase, it can help because you can respond fairly well. And then the 1 copy of Thousand Eyes Restrict. I know it seems stupid to play 3 instant fusions, 1 target for it, but like I said, this is a going second deck. We're either going to win or we're going to lose. We're not going to sit here and play out a 25-minute grind game. This isn't Sky Strikers. We're not going to put our opponent to sleep. We're going to either win or lose. It doesn't matter because we're never going to draw that. Look, we're going to beat them or we're not. We're not going to draw the instant fusion 4 times in a duel. We're not going to loop it back. We're not going to draw. Like, it doesn't matter. So this is the only target we need. If they negate it, we have other extenders to deal with the problems. But like I said, Thousand Eyes Restrict, very good against a variety of matchups, but particularly Thunder Dragons, which sort of hurt us, but not really, because we have a lot of other ways to play around the Thunder Dragons, and they're not particularly a scary deck. We have plenty of destruction and non-targeting destruction available, in addition to tributing and bouncing and stuff like that. But that is it. This is a very, very interesting deck. Definitely get out and play it. It is a fun deck. It is a very cheap deck. I think the most expensive card in this entire thing is, quite ironically, I think it's just these 2, and totally, completely, they're just completely optional. You don't have to play these. You just play any other card, and this deck gets considerably cheaper. I'm just going to take one quick look through the main deck, because last time I said the deck was cheap, and then somebody was like, no, it's not. Look at this. Yeah, most of this is pretty cheap. Like, this is, I don't see anything in here that was like, those to me look like a bunch of 50-cent cards, and yep. This deck is incredibly cheap. The most expensive thing is Instant Fusion, quite ironically. Probably in the main deck, the most expensive thing is Instant Fusion. But literally, other than that, this deck is dirt cheap. This is reprinted. Everything in here is reprinted. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Incredibly fun deck to play. Get out and try it.